Hey, my bones. SilverDFanng with more YouTube reactions. We got a interesting treat. Uh, when Superman Fights Real Evil by Komik. Komik, small channel. This was my first time seeing his stuff. Honestly, I'm probably going to review more because I really found him charming. I don't want to spoil it. Let's just say Superman fights some interesting villains. Enjoy.
By 1940.
Okay. When Superman Fights Real Evil by Komik. You can't see the cover I saw, but let's just say if it's accurate, we're in for a treat.
46, fighting Nazis in Germany was over. But in America, it was far from it. The Ku Klux Klan was bleeding members at the time, but they had already come back from much worse. Their last comeback came from expanding their hatred from
1 second. The rise and fall of the Hooded Order. Okay, so 550,000 members, 1871. You got to remember, this is like this is like America in the 19th century. So that's a huge number. 1920, okay, it went down to 5,000. 1925 went to 5 million. God damn it. So you might be wondering, why did it go that high? It's a tale as old as time. Racism goes up when the living of the normal person goes up. Dumb, angry people want a thing to hate, and people that are really bigoted or really trying to manipulate people will take that as the reason you can't feed your family is because other people that are not like you. Okay, it went down because the economy went up.
Anti-black racism to basically any minority. And then Superman beat the shit out of them.
Yeah, Superman beat Nazis!
When I heard they adapted that serial into a graphic novel, I was expecting a fun, bombastic Superman adventure.
Okay, so Superman fought the Nazis. Well, yeah, he fought the Nazis, but he fought the Ku Klux Klan in a radio play.
Instead, I might have found the most touching comic I've ever read. This is Superman at his most human and his most necessary. This is Superman Smashes the Klan.
Okay, first of all, I love the cover. Second of all, I kind of need this book now. Superman Smashes the Klan? Can you just imagine having that on your coffee table? Like, even if people are not into DC Comics, that is a title that are going to get people intrigued by.
Now, obviously, the KKK is no physical match for Superman, so the book wisely pulls out and considers the true conflict to be one of ideas. The idea here being, do you embrace being different? This is mainly shown through the Lee family, the protagonist who just moved from Chinatown to Metropolis. Like many immigrants, there's an immediate pressure to fit into broader American life. And the author Gene Luen Yang, being an Asian immigrant himself, lends the story such a great sense of personality. The Lee children are great examples of this. Tommy is taking up baseball and instantly making new friends, while Roberta is having a lot more of a tough time with the transition. Yang knows that being an immigrant isn't just tough because...
I don't know. If you punch one white guy in a white costume, do you know which one you're fighting? There's a million of them. They're all like cockroaches.
People will burn crosses, although we will get there. It's also the psychological pressure to erase yourself, to be the good, normal American. Let's talk about tone. One of the...
Sorry, it's just ironically, we were talking about this earlier about how America does the whole melting pot, where you can come in, but you are now American. And it is fascinating as a Canadian looking at it, because we are also multicultural, but we don't tell people that they have to like convert to Canadianism. Like Americans are like, you can keep your last name and you can keep what's about you, but you're now American.
Biggest strengths of this graphic novel is how I can recommend.
Just gives you more to punch. I love it.
And while it does deal with these intense topics like white supremacy, it never...
1 second. What? Let me guess. The kid's name is Kolaski or O'Mallory or something Steen. His name's Tommy Lee. Lee? I heard about that family. His father must be the one who took the job at the health department. Yeah. foreigners are taking our jobs. Are you in the medical field? No, then fuck off.
Feels overbearing with dread. This balance of levity and fear is hugely impressive. I genuinely think that this could teach kids empathy, which is kind of amazing. Like when the KKK kicks the story off by
just because I want this happy prime says, honestly, we don't very much either. Integration and assimilation is kind of a hot button issue. Yeah, it's yeah. How much do you take in your new culture, and how much do you keep of your old culture is an interesting topic that the people have smarter than me have deep dived in for decades.
Burning a cross in the Lee's front yard. It's kind of goofy and absurd, but it also doesn't undercut from the overall vibe. It's an extremely fine line, and it's pretty amazing the comic can maintain this balance for the entire duration.
Look at Superman's legs. Like, God. I love it when they draw Superman caked up.
Very rarely on the channel do I get to read writing this good. This is, for lack of a better term, literature. Take this moment where Roberta sees some of her old friends from Chinatown, and it's super uncomfortable because not only does she not fit in with native metropolitans, she's not the same as those old friends anymore either. It's so clearly based on Yang's lived experiences, and it feels so authentic as a result. The last thing I want to say before we...
That is a phrase I have not heard before. Not my monkey, not my zoo. Interesting.
Talk about the clan buster himself is the pacing is so good. Pages will just fly by.
Superman!
If you're reading this just for Superman, you're kind of missing the point. There's a lot of not Superman in this story, and as a result, I think it's a great recommendation for people who...
Yes.
The saying is, not my monkey, not my circus.
Ah. I still don't understand it.
It's just saying, like, craziness.
Oh, okay. Mama Fang...
She's still out here?
Yes. Mama Fang wanted to tell me it's actually not my monkey, not my zoo, which I still don't understand what it's... I still don't... I said circus.
You said zoo again.
I still don't understand what it means. Don't really read comics that much. Superman's scope is pretty dang small, and in some ways that's really refreshing. When he shows up in scenes, there's a real weight to them since every other character, aside from his parents in the flashback, is just a normal human. However, I don't really think he was prioritized in this story. He has two very clear conflicts here, the clan and his identity as an immigrant. I do wish that he got to do more cool shit. His culmination of accepting his Kryptonian origin is learning how to fly, and I just think that's like the bare minimum for a Superman. His design is incredibly plain, and while I'll get to the art a bit later, he just doesn't feel as distinct as he did in For All Seasons. This is a minor gripe though, because Superman's core character is him slowly realizing he's a lot like Roberta and Tommy Lee. Superman as an immigrant is such an obvious theme to us, but it's really done to perfection here. He struggles with
It's also something that we don't see often. It is a core principle of Superman is the fish out of water and the foreigner. But a lot of writers either don't want to talk about it, or they kind of talk at it as like, yeah, he came as a child as an immigrant, but he grew up American, and so he's American. But yeah, but part of that is he still doesn't know the culture that he left behind, and there's still a part of him missing. As a native Canadian, as an Aboriginal, I kind of understand that.
Reconciling his extraterrestrial identity with the humans that he's loved for his whole life, and the scenes between him and the Lees are some of the best in the whole book. Clark's flashbacks to his childhood pretending to be a normal kid is expertly contrasted with the Lees pretending not to have their Chinese roots. The main vehicle for this is Superman's parents, who show up looking a lot more alien than usual to symbolize his otherness. So yeah, embrace your perspective, be your unique self. So much stuff I cover on the channel either has no deep message.
Good news, Krypton blew up. There is no culture. Oh god, there's some dark. Fuck it. Yeah, that's what Israeli is trying to do with Palestine. Good news. You don't have to worry about Palestine culture being demolished. We got rid of it.
or a really sad one, so it's just really refreshing to like just read something and just feel so good. It's time to talk about white supremacy. The Klan are the antagonists, but they're by no means the emotional focus. Obviously, we all hate these guys. They should be really easy to write as results. But I think what makes the Grand Scorpion, who is the main
a Ching Chong living in a neighborhood like this, goddamn, dude, at least come up with like modern, awful, disgusting, horrible slurs. Your basic anger racist. You suck.
Adversary, such a great villain, is he's so grounded and focused. He's not trying to take over the world. He just wants to terrorize this Asian family, and that's somehow even more terrifying. The villain that really takes the cake, though, is the Grand Scorpion's nephew, Chuck. Chuck is the same age as Tommy and is initially hateful when Tommy takes his job as the starting pitcher. However, after the Klan burns the cross on the Lee's front yard, Chuck, on some level deep down, knows the Klan is wrong and hateful. He's torn between his compassion and his desire to make his uncle proud of him. Chuck, to me, is by far the most compelling character in this story. It would be so easy to tell a story where 100% of the Klansmen are 100% evil, but having Chuck spawns so many interesting conflicts. How do you break the cycle of hatred? How can you possibly be forgiven for such cruel and inhumane acts? Should those people even be redeemed in the first place? Superman and Kryptonite are here, sure, but the absolute treat that is this comic are the nuanced ways that it portrays hate. There are three ways the book primarily shows hate. The first is misguided hate. Again, this is mainly shown through Chuck. Chuck's hate is masquerading in nature because it stems from the same feeling of belonging that the Lees have, only swap out Metropolis with your evil KKK uncle. And when Chuck realizes his mistake, Tommy's forgiveness of him is equally important to this story. Yes, Superman smashes the Klan, but it's so much more than that. This is about...
I will say, it is satisfying, but it is weird that Superman, the guy that usually fights like universe-ending threats, on the weekends just fights the Klan. If Superman took, I don't know, a week and just focused on destroying the Klan, yeah, he would do it.
Smashing the perversive disease of vitriol. The book is clear that only by true acceptance can we wash away misguided hate. But the story isn't naive enough to say...
And I'm not here being like, well, if you just beat him up, he'll come back strong. It's like, no. When I say a week, Superman has super intelligence, by the way. Some people use it in the writing. Some people forget that. If you give Superman a week on one task, he would find a way to not just physically, but mentally and emotionally destroy the Klan.
That all bigots can be redeemed, and that brings us into the second type of hate, true hate. The Grand Scorpion is consistently shown the error of his ways to the point when he learns at the end that the KKK is basically a giant scam. But yet, he cannot separate himself from this victim complex. His white supremacy is forever glued to who he is as a person. And towards the end of the story, he is very clearly willing to die for it, and it's almost heartbreaking if it wasn't so cathartic. Some anger just cannot be extinguished. The last form of hate in Superman Smashes the Klan is internal hate, and it's my personal favorite. I shouldn't say that. Throughout this comic, Roberta, Tommy, and Superman are not only faced with the external threat of white supremacy, but the internal pressure to erase their authentic selves. In Superman's case, it's actually very literal. He's repressing a lot of his powers in order to come across as more human. This culminates in when the KKK puts a bomb in Tommy's school. Superman, who's never used his X-ray vision,
I just want to point out the school has white kids too, but the KKK tries to bomb a school. God damn.
Before has no idea how to fix it, and it actually goes off. And on the surface, you might mistake this for just a standard action romp, but you peel back and you get so many layers. I think it's a really powerful message that if you switch off the ways that make you different, you're internalizing the goals of the Klan themselves. Unfortunately, the only thing that doesn't feel human in this story is the art. I would say this is probably my only notable complaint. Panel design is like the bare minimum.
So I think I know what they're going for. This looks a lot like the new Adventures Superman, or the Adventures of Superman cartoon, which is popular right now. So I think they were trying to go off of the like the cartoon that is really popular right now, which is fine. And honestly, I don't think it looks that bad. I can't tell what era this is supposed to be. It feels like it's going back and forth between the 50s and modern.
Everything is framed very similarly at like the eye level, and I don't need like a bunch of Dutch angles, but it would really do a lot to make these sequences a little bit less stiff. There's next to no environmental storytelling, which is a huge missed opportunity. It's also lit very statically. There's few interesting shadows or light. There are definitely times when it wakes up and you see a really beautiful spread, but overall the majority...
Sometimes comic art just looks kind of wonky. Look at the original Invincible. Oh, yeah. To be fair, I think the artist for that one, I think that was his first big job.
Majority of it is just too dang flat for me. I said it in other videos where I don't like when comics look like screenshots of a good animated movie, but this looks like screenshots of a bad animated movie. And it really sucks because the writing...
Rob Liefeld just was a bad artist. Rob Liefeld got a lot of his work because he was a nice guy for the most part. Now I hear he's a jerk.
Is A1. They have that shit on lockdown. I just wished I liked looking at it as much as I did reading it. This last section, I want to talk about things that didn't bother me per se, but I think could affect your enjoyment if you want to pick this up. If you want your comics to be bombastic thrills, there's not really that many awesome action sequences. You generally get one action sequence per like 50
he knows
pages,
who to be nice to.
and that's about half of what a usual comic I read has. Even though this is meant for all ages, it does have kind of like a PG-13 vibe. If you enjoy something like The Last Airbender or Toy Story 3, you're totally fine, but if you want something distinctly adult and gritty, I'm not sure this is for you. Superman Smashes the Klan has a stellar
I'm hungry.
act. It's full of payoff, closure, and answered a lot of my earlier concerns. Superman gets a ton more character development. The scene where he gets his first motivation...
I will say, this art, I'm not a big fan of because it kind of looked... Literally, the strongman looks like Bluto, the villain from Popeye. It's a little Popeye-y.
To become Superman from this strongman in the circus.
Oh,
is
it is a little bit
moving.
like the Avatar comics
like
too, actually. You're right.
Given the overall themes of identity, it just works so well. And the circus being this...
It does look like The Search.
Place for people like Clark with atypical traits is storytelling genius. Every scene in this last act is brimming with emotion, like Chuck here when he cries out asking why his family is so evil. It's such a great way to show that hate is a learned trait and, as a result, can be unlearned. And it just builds so naturally into Superman showing the Klan who's boss. And while it definitely should not have been Roberta to say this, Superman's moment when he realizes he can fly is so earned. And the line that you're afraid not to be called Superman is really clever to show his dual identity. And since I
you should be called Super Master.
This is a great way to use it in the story. It's much more compelling to me now. There is a little bit of a tacked on plot about how the Klan is robbing its members, but I can explain. So a huge part of the original serial was Stetson Kennedy's work going undercover in the KKK. He exposed their rituals, their code words, their silly names, and their embezzlement. And that was a huge part of the original serial. So I think Yang kept that to tie back to the original serial, but if you don't have that prior context, it does read a little awkwardly. But it's all worth it in the end to see Chuck finally break the cycle of hatred and Superman embrace his authentic self.
Okay, so I'm going to take back what I said. So I'm going to guess it is meant to be in the 50s. It's just some of it, maybe because the art style just feels modern. But no, it's set in the 50s.
I do not need to explain how relevant this story is. I just don't think I've read a story that appeals...
This just looks like zombie Superman fights racist All Might. Oh, God. Jesus.
On this many levels. It's just so pleasant. I just feel good. But you guys all know, there's one more thing we gotta do. We gotta rate this something bitch. If you enjoyed this video, I would really appreciate it if you subscribed and let me know in the comments which comics I should or shouldn't do next. I try to reply to every single one. There's actually some research that claims the original serial prevented a third revival.
I like this guy. I like his energy. This is my first time watching his videos. I like him.
Of the Ku Klux Klan. And if that's true, I don't see how I could give Superman Smashes the Klan any less than a 10 out of 10.
Damn.
Our first 10 in 7 months.
Right up there with Dark Victory, which I'll be honest, I know a little bit about, but I have never read. I do know Arkham Asylum is Serious House, which is intense. Okay. Komik, honestly, check this. If you like comics, check this guy out. This guy seems really cool. I'm definitely going to look more comic stuff. Superman fights the Klan. No, Superman smashes the Klan. I love the story. I love that it is a 50s radio play that they brought back. And honestly, it seems pretty cool. Okay. What else do we got? Hey, thanks for checking out this video. Check me out on Twitch, SilverDFanng, 2 N's in Fang. Check me out on Twitter and Blue Sky under the same name. Also TikTok. Have a great night.